When most people think of Ariana Grande, they picture the pop superstar with her iconic ponytail, powerhouse vocals, and chart-topping hits. She's known for dazzling performances, glamorous red carpet looks, and her evolution from a Nickelodeon star into one of the most influential music artists of her generation. But there's another, much darker story attached to Ariana Grande, one that fans still whisper about today. A story where the bright lights of fame meet the shadows of the supernatural. In 2013, Ariana revealed she had a real-life brush with something terrifying. Not just a ghost, not just an eerie feeling, but what she described as a demonic presence. The incident shook her so deeply that she later spoke about it in interviews, offering a chilling glimpse into a world where celebrity encounters aren't with fans or paparazzi, but with something far more sinister. Tonight, we'll dive into Ariana Grande's terrifying encounter with a demon, what happened, how it haunted her afterward, and why this remains one of the creepiest celebrity ghost stories ever told. Before we step into the dark details, it's important to understand Ariana herself. While she's known for her music, she's also admitted to having a strong interest in the supernatural. Even in her early career, she would often talk about being curious about ghosts, demons, and the afterlife. Like many young stars who grow up in the spotlight, Ariana sought out thrills beyond the stage. She confessed to being fascinated by horror movies, haunted locations, and scary stories. But there's a difference between fascination and experience, and Ariana would soon discover just how thin that line really is. In an interview with Complex magazine back in 2013, Ariana revealed the nightmarish encounter that changed the way she looked at the paranormal forever. The story begins when Ariana was on tour, traveling through the Midwest. She and some friends decided to visit Stull Cemetery in Kansas. If you're not familiar, Stull Cemetery has a terrifying reputation. For decades, it has been called one of the most haunted places in America, and even rumored to be one of the 7 gateways to hell. Legends say that witches once practiced rituals there. Others claim the devil himself appears on certain nights. For paranormal enthusiasts, it's one of those destinations you visit if you want to tempt fate. So, Ariana Grande, then only 20 years old, decided to go. But unlike other tourists, what she experienced there was not a campfire story. It was something she would never forget. As Ariana recounted in her interview, the first thing she noticed when she and her friends arrived at Stull Cemetery was the smell. It wasn't the musty, earthy scent of an old graveyard. It was sharp, overwhelming, and unmistakable. It smelled like sulfur, she said, which is the sign of a demon. In many religious traditions and paranormal accounts, sulfur, or a smell similar to rotting eggs, is considered a warning sign of demonic activity. It's often described in exorcism cases, haunted house reports, and even biblical references to hell itself. The fact that Ariana immediately picked up on it terrified her. She later admitted that she and her friends quickly realized they weren't just walking into a spooky legend. They were stepping into something real. Things escalated quickly. As Ariana and her friends drove away from the cemetery, shaken by the sulfuric stench, she began to hear something strange. She described it as a deep, unsettling whisper that seemed to come from nowhere. It wasn't her friends, it wasn't the car radio, it was something darker, something directed at her. In her words, "I heard this really loud whisper in the car saying, 'What's up?'" The simplicity of the phrase only made it more disturbing. Imagine driving away from one of the most haunted places in the country, already creeped out, and then hearing a disembodied voice speaking directly to you. For Ariana, it was confirmation that something had followed her. The encounter didn't end at the cemetery. When Ariana returned home, she couldn't shake the feeling that something had attached itself to her. That night, she reported seeing a massive black figure standing at the foot of her bed. It wasn't a fleeting shadow or a trick of the light. Ariana described it as a towering, dark mass that radiated dread. She froze, paralyzed with fear, unable to move or even scream. Many paranormal experts believe that when demons manifest in shadow form, it's often during sleep paralysis. But Ariana was adamant that this wasn't just a dream, it was real. The black mass lingered, watching her, before finally vanishing. As if that wasn't enough, Ariana also took photos during her visit to Stull Cemetery. When she later checked her phone, She found them corrupted in strange and terrifying ways. Instead of normal images of gravestones, the photos were filled with distorted shapes, blurs of energy, and what appeared to be demonic faces staring back at her. She admitted that she eventually deleted them because they were too disturbing to keep. Paranormal enthusiasts often point to these photos as one of the creepiest details of her story. Unlike vague feelings or fleeting visions, pictures provide tangible evidence. The fact that Ariana, a global superstar, claimed to have captured and destroyed such images makes her account all the more chilling. After that night, Ariana admitted she wanted nothing to do with paranormal investigations anymore. She described the experience as terrifying and too real. She even said that she stopped talking about it in detail because every time she did, she felt like she was inviting the dark presence back into her life. Many people who've dealt with paranormal activity claim the same, that acknowledgement gives these entities more power. For Ariana, it wasn't just a spooky encounter. It was a turning point that made her cautious about engaging with the paranormal again. Ariana Grande isn't the only celebrity to have spoken about brushes with the supernatural. Stars like Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, and Keanu Reeves have all shared their own ghost stories. But Ariana stands out because it wasn't just a haunted house or a strange noise. It was an encounter she herself described as demonic. Her fame gave the story extra weight. Fans latched onto it, with some saying it explained the darker themes in some of her later music videos, while others speculated about whether the experience permanently marked her. Regardless of interpretation, Ariana's story remains one of the most widely discussed celebrity ghost encounters ever told. Of course, not everyone buys into Ariana's account. Skeptics argue that the power of suggestion, fear, and imagination could explain what she experienced. Sleep paralysis, they say, could account for the black mass at the foot of her bed. Strange smells and whispers could be chalked up to nerves and overactive senses. But believers argue otherwise. They point out Ariana's sincerity and the fact that she hasn't tried to exploit the story for publicity. She spoke about it once and has mostly kept quiet since, as though even mentioning it could summon it back. That silence, for believers, is proof that she knows it was real. It's been years since Ariana Grande's terrifying encounter, but fans still bring it up. Paranormal forums discuss it as one of the creepiest modern ghost stories. YouTube videos and podcasts revisit her account every Halloween. What makes it so chilling is the combination of innocence and horror. A young star at the height of her early fame, curious about a haunted place, suddenly finding herself face to face with something she could never have prepared for. It's the kind of story that lingers not just because it happened to a celebrity, but because it taps into a universal fear that we might one day brush up against something we can't explain, something evil, and that it might follow us home. Ariana Grande has built a career defined by light, love, and resilience. But hidden beneath the glitz and glamour is a chilling chapter she rarely discusses. Her brush with a demon at Stull Cemetery remains one of the eeriest celebrity paranormal stories ever told. Whether you believe her or dismiss it as imagination, there's no denying the impact it left on her. And perhaps that's what makes her story so haunting. Because if a global superstar, with all the fame and security in the world, isn't safe from the shadows, then maybe none of us are.